Ladies and gentlemen, please now take your seats. Our presentation is about to begin.
Sign one thing. Years ago.
I wanted to be so many things, and a writer was one of them.
We know each other. He's a friend from work.
And in those days, nobody thought of writing comics. Nobody had any respect for comics.
This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
I couldn't wait till I get to the office in the morning. I'd hate to be a person who didn't enjoy what they're doing.
Hear ye, hear ye. Oh.
The primacy of the creative process of making a film is what you live for. You're trying to create something interesting that you're proud of. You try out creative ideas that may seem really off the wall.
Somebody told us about this crazy new thing called cable. We called all the cable operators together and said we had this really great idea, and 12 and a half months later we were on the air.
It took us a long time to build the technical foundation. We were pioneering every step of the way. Pixar invented all this stuff.
We've had a lot of our dreams come true.
This could work.
Now we want you to share with us our latest and greatest dream.
Incredible.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon. I am Bob Iger, owner of one of the greatest highlight reels in the business. It's very nice of you all to join us today, and I thought I'd just say a few words about the program and then let the show speak for itself. You know, it's an understatement to say these days are transformative times, and we certainly see transformation in all of our businesses. And with that in mind, we believe that it's imperative for us to use technology to help us transform, not only to keep pace with all the change that we see in these times, but to continue to tell stories in compelling ways, which is really part of the legacy of the company dating back really almost 100 years. The Accelerator not only reminds us of how dynamic our businesses are, but it also helps us open our eyes to new ideas and new developments and certainly new people, all of which will be on display this afternoon. So this is the 5th year of this program, the Disney Accelerator as we call it, and almost 50 companies have been part of the program since it began. Our relationship with these companies go well beyond the program itself. They become part of our extended family, part of our story, and hopefully we become part of theirs. And as they grow, we often create ideas and build products together, sometimes months or even years after a company's participation in the program itself. And it's wonderful to see so many of the entrepreneurs that we have worked with over these past few years that are here in the room with us today. Just a few of our recent collaborations. Little Bits, an accelerator company, just last year released the Droid Inventor Kit, which was the #1 tech toy on Amazon last holiday season. And this summer, Little Bits launched the Avengers Hero Inventor Kit. I'm sure you all bought that, which lets kids create and customize high-tech hero gear and a unique superhero identity. And there's StatMuse. StatMuse has developed AI-powered voice apps with the NBA and the NFL, Major League Baseball, and National Hockey League. And they offer sports stats and scheduling information and scores. You can also see that featuring ESPN SportsCenter, Scott Van Pelt, and star athletes that use their voices on all the major AI assistant and smart speaker platforms. Then there's The Void and ILM X Lab in collaboration with Lucasfilm, which created Star Wars: The Secret of the Empire, which is a location-based hyper-reality experience that has been launched in multiple global locations, including at Disneyland and at Disney World in Orlando. And The Void and ILM X Lab just announced Ralph Breaks VR, coming, very clever, this fall. That is alongside our feature animated film, Ralph Breaks the Internet. And an immersive adventure from Marvel Studios is also coming in 2019. And today we're also proud to have Ted here with us to share ideas about the future of technology and its impact on media and entertainment. So we get energized by our accelerator companies. We're really excited to share their people and their projects and their ideas with all of you. And so let's get the show on the road. Thanks.
Good afternoon. I'm Ethan Agarwal, founder and CEO of Aptiv. We all know that exercise comes with tremendous benefits. It reduces weight, it helps us live healthier, it reduces stress, it provides mental clarity, and it helps with the reduction of chronic disease risk. The list goes on. And so it's a little crazy that the CDC tells us that 75% of Americans are not getting enough exercise. And the way that they define enough is just an hour a week. 3 years ago, I was in that 75%. My job at the time required me to work long hours. I had extensive travel, and I would work out here and there, but I wasn't able to build any kind of consistent habit. And as a result of that, I was 30 pounds heavier than I am today. It was right around that time that I had a challenging meeting with the doctor, and the question came to my mind: why was I, like millions of other Americans, struggling to develop an exercise habit? When I looked into it, I realized that behavioral economists have been studying exercise motivation for a long time. They've tried incentives like setting goals, using moral arguments. They've even tried rewarding people with cash payments. None of these tactics have worked. So, how do we develop exercise habits? Well, we know through narrative and entertainment, leisure content, whether it's TV, movies, or books, have been really successful at developing habits of consumption. So that's when I realized the reason that we haven't developed exercise habits is because exercise content just isn't entertaining. And that was the aha moment. We needed to take what we know about creating great leisure content and apply that to great exercise content in order to develop exercise habits. That's why I started Aptiv. It's a digital content company that focuses on fitness content. Less than 3 years after launching, we have over 200,000 paying members who are consuming tens of thousands of our classes every day. This is because we found a way to make exercise content that is entertainment. So how do we do that? Well, first of all of our content is audio only. Audio is actually the best delivery medium for exercise content. Because think about it, you can't run down the road while staring at a video on your phone. And you certainly can't be doing yoga or a downward dog while trying to crane your neck to look at a screen. It's a bad user experience. Audio allows for complete freedom of movement, which is crucial in any effective workout. Further, audio doesn't require any kind of specific hardware, which can be expensive or restrictive. The best way to consume audio content is with the device that we all have in our pockets right now. Second, Aptiv content is led by our world-class trainers, who are experts in both physiology but also in motivation. They treat each class like an entertainer would treat a performance. In addition to guiding you through the workout, they capture your attention and they keep you entertained. They're making you laugh, they're making you think, and they're telling you stories. And last, to help tell each story, we use incredible music. We believe that music is fundamental and can make or break a workout. The right music drives you to work harder instead of serving as a distraction. When the right lyrics, beats per minute, and tempo change work synonymously with the guidance of an expert trainer, it's an endorphin rush unlike any other human experience. We're going to listen to a quick clip right now from one of our most popular Aptive classes. So imagine you're on a treadmill, you're about 5 minutes into your workout, and we're going to hear our trainer, John, who's going to get you ready for the next interval.
Second sprint coming around the corner. How can you make this one stronger? How can you make this one better than the last one? Round 2, 45 seconds on the clock. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, sprint.
What we're doing here is we've taken the work out of working out by providing an entertaining fitness experience. This entertainment within the exercise content is exactly how we're going to drive habit. This is why Aptive members work out 3 times more frequently than the average American. I'll say that again. Aptive members work out 3 times more frequently than the average American. The CDC tells us that 75% of Americans aren't getting enough exercise. My goal is to invert that ratio. By 2023, we want 3/4 of Americans getting more than the prescribed amount of exercise. I'm confident we can get there by continuing to make fitness content that is both entertaining and effective. Thank you.
So this is what everybody thinks of when you hear about artificial intelligence. We think that it knows everything about us, that it threatens us, that it can replace the human mind as the driver of civilization. But today, all artificial intelligence can do is scale our ignorance. Let me give an example. It's 2006, and I'm the head of derivatives at a major bank, and I know what drives mortgage defaults. It's income level, it's credit score, it's the mortgage to property value ratio, and unemployment in the metro area. I know this so well that I bring in some data scientists, I give them this data from a bunch of historical loans, and they go off and tune models that are 97% accurate in predicting mortgage defaults. I'm able to bundle these up into larger securities and sell them widely, and the buyers know they're going to make money on these because of those models. I think we all know how this ended. Now, what I just described is what's used for everything, pretty much, that you hear of as artificial intelligence or machine learning or data science. It's called supervised learning, because before the computer can do anything, humans tell it what to do. They put in bias or their own assumptions before the AI does anything. And that means the AI spits out wrong or biased information, but 1,000,000 times over. That's how AI scales our ignorance. That doesn't make the world a better place. If we want to push the world forward, we need something different. And that's why my team created something completely different. An AI that's focused on coming up with new ideas and helping people. Instead of supervised, we went unsupervised. Now, before you get worried about unsupervised as a word, it doesn't mean we're building the machines that are going to run amok or something like that. It's a different approach to artificial intelligence. In unsupervised learning, the machine starts from the data. So there's no opportunity for humans to layer in their biases or their mistakes at the start. And what comes out is patterns that people can look at. And the reason that's so important is that those patterns are where human ideas come from. Let's take a hypothetical example from the world of entertainment. So let's say we are all part of the editorial committee for a books publisher, and we're trying to come up with the next series we're going to publish. We can feed the AI information on all the books that have been published so far, on their synopses, their reviews, their settings, all those types of things, as well as their sales numbers. The AI can go over all of that and find the patterns that matter. Things like there's 500,000 people who read books where the lead is female, the setting is more than 20 but less than 70 years in the past, and the reviews contain the phrase deep characters. And there's another million people who read primarily supernatural horror books or spy thrillers that are between 208 and 258 pages in length, and they mostly read on their mobile phones. Now, as you look at these, I want you to note what you're doing. You're probably coming up with concepts of books that would be good for these audiences. You're coming up with ideas. That's what people are great at, taking a pattern like this and coming up with ideas of what to do with it. The AI that can find patterns to make people do that is real. We're using it in many companies and industries today. In fact, we're working with Disney Music Group, Disney Channel, and exploring opportunities with ESPN and others to find these types of patterns and ideas in their businesses and help them create the future of entertainment. And that's the future I want to see. Not a future where we're focused on machines threatening or replacing humans, but a future where we're getting the best of people and machines. Because people are brilliant. They can take these patterns, be they in science, in entertainment, in business, in anything, and come up with so many creative ideas of what to do with those. But they will never be able to go through all the data that's needed to find this. And what that means is that there's a limit to what we can ever do with supervised AI. We need to go unsupervised. And when we do that well, when we have unsupervised AI going over all of our data and putting these patterns in front of people, we empower those people to be brilliant. Thank you.
Baby, you can drive my car. Yes, I'm gonna be a star. Baby, you can drive my car.
In the movie Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner's character hears a whisper over and over. If you build it, he will come. So as crazy as it sounds, he builds a ballpark in a field of corn. And sure enough, his dad and many other people come to his field. Now, while that may have worked for Kevin Costner, what I've learned is it makes no difference what you build if your audience has no way to get there. I spend a lot of my time thinking about mobility. Now, I don't think about driverless cars, or really cars at all for that matter. What I think about is who is in those cars and where are they going. Because for me, what mobility is really about is providing access to the experiences that shape who you are as a person. With two crazy kids of my own constantly going in opposite directions at the same time, I co-founded Hop Skip Drive to help busy families and schools get kids where they need to go with safe, highly vetted care drivers. And what I've learned along the way is that the inability to access safe and reliable transportation means that so many kids across the income spectrum miss out on childhood activities. And these activities form who they are, what they love, and how they grow up spending their time. Let's take youth sports as an example. Playing sports is so good for our kids. There are the obvious health benefits. Kids that play sports are 1/10 as likely to be obese. There are educational benefits. Kids that play sports have up to 40% higher test scores and are 15% more likely to go to college. And there are social benefits as well. Kids that play sports learn valuable social skills like teamwork, communication, and build self-esteem. There are also positive benefits for those in sports media, because participation in youth sports influences what kind of fans kids grow up to be. But Rob Manfred, the MLB commissioner, said that the single biggest predictor of avidity in sports is whether or not you played as a kid. One study suggests that 75% of avid NFL fans and 55% of casual fans played the game in elementary school. But youth sports participation is down across the board. Today, only 37% of kids ages 6 to 12 play at least one team sport, down from 42% in 2011. And the picture is even bleaker for low-income kids. From 2008 to 2013, participation in football dropped 29%. Baseball, 14%, and soccer and basketball saw declines of 11% and 4%. Mobility is a huge part of this problem. Parents consistently cite transportation as a challenge in getting their kids to participate in youth sports. And sports organizers overwhelmingly cite transportation as the single largest barrier to participation, more so than funding, facility, and parental choice combined. Imagine that. They're not telling us that funding or fields are the problem. The problem is even when you build it, they won't come if they don't have a way to get there. So, we know that playing sports is so good for our kids. And we know that participating in youth sports influences what kind of fans kids grow up to be. And this is a problem for sports teams, sports leagues, and for those of us in the room today, sports media. Because just like we're seeing declines in youth sports participation, professional sports are seeing declines in viewership. The NFL, the NHL, and the MLB all faced ratings challenges in their most recent completed seasons. Now, I can't tell you how to change the whole game in just one inning, but I can tell you that fans that play organized sports are much more likely to watch live games. The good news is we can solve this together. If we can just get more kids to the fields, there's a much better likelihood that they'll develop a lifelong love of the game. The question really isn't, if you build it, will they come? The question is, when you build it, how will we get them there? Thank you.
Every once in a while, a new format comes along that changes everything. The video cassette changed how we consume shows and movies. It changed the whole movie business. A similar moment has arrived. A new format has come along, and it's going to change how you experience live television. I'm not sure how many people realize how big this is, so let me take a step back and tell you. I've been a gamer my whole life. My favorite game is World of Warcraft, which is a massively multiplayer online video game. I have played World of Warcraft for almost 15 years since it was first released. This is my main character in World of Warcraft, Sasha. I have played Sasha for 170 days of my actual life. I don't play alone. I play with friends all over the world. It's a very different set of friends than what I have on any other social platform. We have the same content passion, we have the same schedule, and can interact and hang out with each other in an immersive online world. In 2012, while working at Apple, I learned how powerful it was to simplify access to great content on phones and tablets. And then seeing how people interact with that content, that was a game changer. But for live TV, such as live sports, there was no interactive, immersive experience. The ability to chat, hang out, and cheer with other people like I do in World of Warcraft, it was missing. And that's when it dawned on me. What if that deep connection I had as a gamer could be expanded to TV content? What if we could bring the whole world together around live TV like we do in the gaming world? What would that mean for the experience? And what would it mean for the business model? Part of the answer was already staring back at me. In the video game world, game developers have been making a lot of money for years through selling virtual goods. Gamers buy these virtual goods for deeper engagement in the content and for social status. The video game Fortnite generates hundreds of millions of dollars per month in revenue, primarily from selling these virtual goods. But could that same model work for live TV? The answer is yes. YY, a Chinese live streaming service, has been making more than $75 per paying user per quarter in the past year selling virtual goods. Items like virtual flowers, stickers, and more are purchased by users so they can catch the attention of other people in the broadcast. They also have subscriptions and they have advertising, but the majority of the revenue is generated through these virtual goods. This is a lot more money than most people spend on most other entertainment services. And millions of people are doing this. I mean, millions.